I think that's a valid thing to keep in mind, though. You've liked it up to this point, but maybe you're hitting the point in the system where you're like, I don't like this part. I don't like the back half of the system. I like the front half of the system. I don't like the back half of the system. Like, maybe that's the situation you're in. And in that scenario, it might not be worth dragging it out through this weird, through some sort of self-flagellation ritual.
It might not. It might not. You might be right. I just want to do my linear story thing and have it feel good and have it come to like a conclusion that I'm proud of.
You can have it come to a conclusion. You don't need to hit max level to conclude a narrative. Lots of people conclude narratives at level 12 in D&D for this exact reason. They like the front half of the game and not the back half of the game. So they cut things early. That's why every fucking official adventure ends at level 12.
Yeah, but that never feels good. Like when you're playing an official adventure and none of them hit max level, you're like, that kind of sucks. I kind of want to like go a little higher. I want to see like what I can do at later level. And then nothing ever gets to that point.
I mean, it bothers me slightly from a mechanical standpoint, but from a narrative standpoint, do I feel like Descent to Avernus was not like a satisfying conclusion to the narrative? No, I think that was a satisfying conclusion. It doesn't satisfying narrative conclusion and hitting max level in the game mechanically are not one-to-one.
No, but they I feel like they feel entwined.
I don't think so.
I think a lot of players would disagree with you.
They can be wrong, I guess. I don't know. Like, there's no reason that you could have a completely satisfying D&D campaign that goes from level 1 to level 5. And you have an idea and you finish that story and the idea is done. You've did the thing you wanted. The arc is complete. It's the same idea that just because a book is 600 pages doesn't mean it's a more satisfying narrative than a book that's 150 pages.
Right. Okay. But to the point that you just made, I started this game with the intention of this game going to LL12 because I wanted that narrative weight of them going from rookies to being the best of the best.
Before you knew how the game worked. Yeah.
Right. But it doesn't mean I don't want to still hold to that. I don't want to give that up because I know that's really important for what I'm trying to do and how I'm trying to run the game.
If the game is falling apart, then you might have to accept that that's not gonna, like, you were like, I'm going to bike from this part of the state to this part of the state. And then you didn't know that 75% of the way through your bike travels, you're going to hit a fucking desert. And you go, oh, okay, well, I didn't know this was going to be a desert. I could die if I bike through this desert. I'm going to have to change the plan. Like, you planned to go to max level before you knew what the game was. Like, you read it, obviously, but you hadn't played it. You didn't know the full scope of the game. So yeah, you wanted to go to max level, but maybe you realize like, maybe it's just not going to work out. And just adjust the plan and, make some narrative changes and cut it a little shorter. Also, in terms of if the players feel like they did the 0 to hero thing, I don't see any reason. It sounds like they did if they're this fuck off OP already. Sounds like they've kind of already gone the like, we were nobody loser rookies to like, now we're cool Giga Chads.
Yeah, and they are, I don't know, they are cool. It just doesn't, for me, it doesn't feel like they,
because the number didn't hit 12. That's your hang up, because the number didn't hit 12.
You say it like it's dumb. It's not.
It's a little silly.
No, it really fucking isn't. Like, that is what makes epic level in D&D cool, because it's epic level. Like, yeah, you can be pretty cool at level 10, but you don't feel like epic level until you hit epic level.
But you can have cool epic level events in D&D without actually straight up hitting level 20. Like, you could still do, from a narrative perspective, do all sorts of cool epic level shit. Like, it sounds like you're getting weirdly obsessed with the number on the paper when I feel like you should be more worried about the narrative satisfaction of the whole thing. You know, does it feel like you hit that beginning, middle, and end and have a satisfying beginning, middle, and end?
Well, it certainly won't hit that satisfying beginning, middle, end if I cut it off fucking 6 levels early.
Well, it will if you adjust like the plan for whatever the narrative was, right? If you were like, all right, at level 12, you know, fucking Satan's gonna show up and kick their teeth in. All right, well, Satan's gonna show up at level 8 instead. You know, like, you can still do it. You just gotta make the adjustments.
Yeah, but the adjustment's gonna feel weird and tacked on.
Why would it feel weird? The players don't know. They don't know. They don't see behind the screen. They don't see the sacred text. They don't see your notes. Why would they? They don't. It's not gonna feel tacked on.
Like,
yeah, they do.
No,
it's
don't.
not gonna, why would they? How are they gonna know it's quote unquote
because
tacked
players,
on?
Like,
if they don't know what you had
not
planned.
Stupid. Players understand when pacing feels rushed or not.
Yeah, but if you make the necessary, you have a rough draft and then you prune your rough draft to the final version. If you had a 300-page rough draft and then the book comes out and it's 150 pages, nobody who read the 150-page book knows that it was going to be a 300-page book, and as long as everything still feels narratively satisfying, they're not going to complain.
Okay, I don't know if I can make that feel narratively satisfying.
Okay, well, that's a different problem. But you could try. You can make the attempt.
Yeah, I could fail.
Yeah. It's not life or death here. We're not trying to curve the meteor off the fucking track of the earth or anything. Like, yeah, it could go poorly. It's not the end of the world. Life goes on.
No, it's not the end of the world, but it's important to me.
Right, so if it's important to you, then... Okay, let's put it this way. Imagine these two imagine this split path here. Option A is you drag the game out to level 12, and then you get really burnt out and sick and tired of everything, and then you get to the, like, intended narrative conclusion that you had planned, but everyone's kind of burnt out, so it's not that satisfying. Or option B, you cut it a little shorter, but you make it a little punchier, so yeah, you don't hit level 12, you only hit level 8 or level 10, but everyone's quite happy because the ending felt really punchy and satisfying. Right, like which option do you want here? This is the too much video game argument. You get what I'm saying? Like,
I get what you're saying. But you're like, your assumption that, like, oh yeah, you'll just make it shorter and then it'll just be bigger and you just have to adjust. Like, that is a lot easier said than done.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's easy.
But that's the fucking problem.
Well, I'm not. What do you want?
You're treating it like it's easy.
No, I'm not treating it like it's easy. But I'm saying that's what you should maybe try to do. I'm saying it is a potential solution to the problem. I didn't say it was an easy solution to the problem. I said it was a solution to the problem.
You're making it seem like it's fucking easy.
How else do you want me to phrase it? Like, like, again, going back to the too much video game example here, right? Baldur's Gate 3 is a game that I love a lot. And I was happy when I beat it, but I'm not gonna lie, there was a part of me that when I got to that last couple hours of the game, I kind of didn't give a shit anymore and was just going through the motions and was really having to push through because I was playing it for 120 hours. If Baldur's Gate was 40 hours shorter, I would have been way more satisfied. That's kind of the situation I'm talking about. Dragging out the last chunk of the game just for the sake of dragging it out is not inherently better. Just because you think you should hit level 12 does not mean hitting level 12 is going to be inherently better. So you got to decide which is going to be more worth it. Is it going to be more worth it to put up with the system's bullshit and hit level 12? Or is it going to be more worth it to cut it a little bit short so you don't have to put up with as much of the system's bullshit, but don't necessarily hit level 12? Also, depending on the game in question, I can't speak for Lancer, but some games you get the full breadth of the game before you even really hit max level. Fabula Ultima, you don't need to hit level 50 in Fabula Ultima for the player characters to have really gotten the full breadth of their characters. By level 20 to 30, they've pretty much seen everything. They've seen everything the game is going to do for them mechanically, and they've probably created a satisfying build and have, like, fully envisioned their character at that point. So yes, there are more levels, but you don't necessarily need the more levels. I don't know if Lancer is that case, but that can also happen.
I'm sure it probably is that case to a point.
Like, is there anything that unlocks that's super specially awesome when you get to like level 11 or 12 in Lancer? You know?
No, but like the fact that you have at that point potentially 4 full mech licenses that you can mix and match is fun and exciting.
Mix and match, sure, but you're not unlocking like a whole new mechanic or anything, right? Fabula, to use the Fabula example, by level 11, you could potentially have your first heroic skill. Once you've gained your first heroic skill, you have accessed everything that the game has to offer for you as a player character mechanically. So getting up to level 50, you're not going to get a new mechanic. You're going to get more options. You're going to mix and match more shit, but you're not going to get a new mechanic. So in that way, I think you can be perfectly satisfied stopping a Fabula game at like, I mean, you could potentially stop a Fabula game at like level 11. I think that's a little short, but you could. So, you know, in that same regard, if they've hit a point where, again, they've already sounds like they've gotten to fuck busted badass territory. So they're probably pretty satisfied in that regard. And if they're not going to unlock any kind of new crazy upper echelon skill, then you're probably okay cutting things short, right? This is a problem that 5e has, where the game starts to fall apart in those last 5 levels are the true like the true villain. But the game does, those last 5 levels do have mechanical things that you're gonna potentially unlock, and for some subclasses the coolest shit is like level 17, which is annoying. So if you cut them short, if you cut a campaign short of level 20 and 5e, yeah, you are missing out on shit, and that is annoying. A lot of people do it anyway because the game pisses them off enough that they don't want to bother, but you are cutting them off. But if Lancer doesn't have that problem, then you're avoiding that already. Like, and also you could just say to your players, listen guys, I wanted to go to level 12, but the game's really pissing me off, so we're gonna stop at like level 8, or we're gonna stop at like level 10 because my sanity is slipping, and you know, quite frankly, it's a game. My sanity is more important than the game at the end of the day.
Yeah, sure, I did that with Hellscape, where I was like, I'm getting frustrated, We're not moving fast enough, I'm just gonna bump you to level 20, and I wasn't happy about it. Well, I was in fact very annoyed about it.
All right, well, you got to pick your poison. I don't know what to say. You got to pick your poison here.
I just want the damn game to work for me. Do what I want, goddammit.
That is off the table. That option is not present. We don't have that option. Again, unless there is something you are misunderstanding and or missing about how the game works, then maybe that option will return to you if you find that thing that you are missing. But if that is not the case, then the game just worked, goddammit, is off the table. So you gotta figure out a different option.
Apparently.
Personally, if it was me, I would not be, if the last 25% of a game is just fucking falling apart for me, and there isn't anything particularly redeeming to keep me going, then I'm just gonna cut it short, right? I pushed 5e to level 20 because there were, even though 5e does get fuck brokey on those last 8, 5 to 8 level range, there was enough fun things, enough fun toys for me to potentially play with, and I had enough fun ideas that I was willing to push through the fucky wucky of that last 25%. But if I was dealing with the fucky wucky of that last 25% and there was nothing particularly fun to like keep me going, then yeah, I would have stopped at level fucking 15 or whatever. I would have just said fuck it. Because effectively what we're getting at is no D&D is better than bad D&D, right? That's really kind of where we're at. Not that I'm saying the game is not that I'm saying the game is like the campaign is going bad, quote unquote, but you get what I mean. In terms of how you're feeling, not playing is better than playing and being mad or frustrated or however you want to phrase it.